Hey, hello. How is everyone doing? I hope you all are doing well. Guys, listen, I am excited. I am so excited. This is one that I am very much looking forward to, and I will tell you why. A few years ago when I came away from Christianity, social media was the a big part of my deconversion. And when I looked around, there were majority of them were white males. Where are the black women? Where did they go? Are there no people who are leaving religion who are, female like myself? And so that was a rare occurrence. Met a couple, met Mandisa, met a few others, met um yeah, feel you would know, at least we have a few of them that we've met, but not many are, holding space and doing their thing. And so finding thinker for me has just been mind blowing. Like, wow, there are people out here. Listen, it's like a whole world has just opened up to me, and it is beautiful, right? Middle aged women, black women are saying enough of Jesus, enough of religion, enough of all these things. We are taking it back, and it is beautiful. And this is one of the reasons why my voice is very loud, right? Because more and more of us, you will see more and more of us. But guys, get yourselves ready. If you need to go and grab your popcorn, go and grab. If you need to get a drink, get a drink. If you need whatever you would need to feel comfortable, because let me tell you, this one is going to be a story. This is going to be great, and I am so honored. But before we bring our guest for the day, hi everyone. Let's see who we got. Ex church girl. There's still people who come to me and say they loved listening to you. Thank you, ex church girl, for coming. And guys, please go, for those of you joining, um, go check out the ex church girl's story. She shared hers, and it was amazing. Absolutely. Thank you. Penny Pum Pum. Penny Pum Pum, how are you? Good to see you. Yes, Penny, thank you for sending word out. I appreciate that. Phil. Hey, Phil. Phil, how are you? Good to see you. Hey, fun. That's fun. That's one woman that I adore. Guys, you guys look forward to just, watch this space. We will be having fun over here because fun's own story, I think, of all these stories, that her story and Chichi's story, this is one that we don't give a lot of ear to. That story is very important, and I will tell you why on a later date. Kaila, good to see you. Sean Anderson, good to see you. Let's see who else? Theo, theoretically, how are you? Good to see you. Who else do we have? Osa. Hey Osa, good to see. Osa, where have you been? Check your messages. I left you a message, no response. Check your messages, Osa. Let's see. Okay, guys. James Bowen, good to see you. Okay, people, get yourselves ready. Drum roll. Let me get my drum roll. Hold on. I think I've got some sound effects. Okay, right. I got something. Okay, right. This is the moment all of you have been waiting for, and I'm not going to let you wait any further. Okay, everyone, let us welcome Thinker. Hey.
Hey, I brought
Ah,
that intro. I
I
brought that.
love
Look, I hope I can live up to that beautiful intro. Thank you.
Oh no, no. Listen, I'm just thinking in my mind. Maybe I didn't do it enough justice, but you know. Oh, but my goodness, Thinker, I am so, so honored to have you here. I am so honored. Um, I'm glad that you accepted the
I
invite
enjoyed
to
it.
come here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I was honored when I saw the invites. I found you on TikTok probably a couple of months ago
Mm,
because I was looking too for other Black women that were atheists or deconstructed from Christianity, and I came across your TikToks and just the way that you deliver the message or try to get the point across. I immediately hit follow, so I was honored when you reached out. So, and you're
I know.
hilarious.
Sorry, say that again.
I say, and you are hilarious.
Listen. Okay, I'll take that. If it's coming from you, I will take that. I will take that.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, but I do try my best. I've faced a few challenges on TikTok. I mean, had my first page taken down at 47,000 followers.
Mhm.
Thinker, do you know? I was going to tell you this. Do you know I had my page taken down yesterday
Y-
by TikTok?
Yesterday?
Yeah.
For what?
They don't tell you. They just said hate speech. But thankfully, I appealed it and I got it back.
Okay, good.
It is
Good.
quite problematic, but you
Yeah.
know something, because the message, it's hard hitting. I know it is hard hitting for a lot of people, and so for them, they think it is hate speech. They
Mhm.
think that you saying that the chances that Jesus never existed is greater than him existing. And
Mhm.
so for a lot of people, it's like that sound it's an attack on their belief, it's an attack on their system. But it is the honest truth.
Yeah.
It is the honest truth. And so, that's hopefully the more we speak and the more we get this message out, it would, the TikTok space and the social media space and the YouTube space. YouTube, I think, is more they're more tolerant of that sort of message on YouTube, but it's still very, yeah,
Okay, so same problems everywhere.
yeah.
Everybody loves Jesus, but nobody wants to prove Jesus' existence.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
But thinker, this is about you. I mean, guys, before you say anything, let's do this. So that you guys think, for those of you who think, who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Okay, all right, she's just your regular. Listen, hang on, so you can see exactly what we are talking about right here. Okay, so this is Thinker's page on TikTok, and if you notice how many followers Thinker has, she has got 295,000 followers. Doesn't end there. She has got 6.9 million likes. Listen, whatever this lady is selling, I am buying. Whatever this lady, just anywhere if she says let's go, I'm going. Right? Not about numbers, but the message. And today we will listen to Thinker. We want to hear, how did Thinker, become Thinker? How did we get to this point? How did you go from being a committed church person to today being, a deconstructionist? So yes, I will play a few of her videos later on, but for now, we'll let Thinker tell us her story.
Um. Ooh. So I was a pastor's kid for 28 years, and thinking about this morning, like I loved being a pastor's child. So like, um, that wasn't all bad. Um, and I was a missionary for 5 years.
Oh,
So
wow.
I, yeah, ordained missionary. My sister and I both became ordained missionary. It was almost as if that was the goal for us as well, but for my parents. But as a young child, I guess you could say I was wayward because I didn't necessarily just click with Christianity or the church thing like everybody else did. In fact, I am the only one of my mother's children who have deconstructed from Christianity, um, and who has sought out the answers to the questions that we have. I'm not the only one with questions. I'm not the only one with dislikes, you know. And I'm not the only one that doesn't go to church. I'm just the only one who has like deconstructed from Christianity. So when I was younger, I was in the choir. Um, I directed the choir, the youth choir, the adult choir. Like I did all the things. I taught Sunday school. I taught youth Bible band. Did the finances for my dad's church before he passed away. So I was really, really in the church. I ended up getting married. My mom had told me that like it was a lot of pressure to get married with who was my boyfriend at the time. We had one child already, and my mom, it was a lot of pressure. You're
Mm.
fornicating, and so
Hey.
yeah,
Hmm.
and so he ended up proposing, ended up getting married, and we'll talk about that. But stayed in the church because of marriage. Became that long skirt wearing, no makeup wearing. Um, no club going missionary. And then, um, so just to kind of tell like my journey, and then I guess we can talk more about like the deconstruction process as we go. But then around about 2017, I started a startup company, a startup tech company that was it was a lot of excitement. At the same time, it was a lot of stress, right? So
Mm.
there are things that I was going through. Like I left my job. I thought God was saying, "Go and do this thing," right? I asked for signs, and I, felt like at that time that I got the signs, and I left my job. I was making $100,000 a year. So I left my job and I started working on my company full time. Now, mind you, I don't regret that because I'm not saying that when I left, there are things that happened, but there are other things that happened after that. But so I left my job, and uh, out of the things that started happening, I kind of just got to this point to where I was like, okay, I at this point I either have to start like leaning on myself and not this other thing, because my safety net had been gone. The safety net that I had built for myself um was now gone. I now had to make this company work. I had to take care of my kids. By this time I was divorced. I totally skipped the divorce and
Which
the
is fine.
yeah. But by this time, I had to learn how to, depend on myself, learn how to have faith in myself. And so I started um, working on fixing my mindset first. So I created a mindset boot camp for myself to start getting rid of a lot of the core values that were in my mind. So I started with that first before I even started deconstructing Christianity. And when I started with that, um, if you read my book, um, you can see in there where I still talk about God and Christ in the book as I was going through the mindset deconstruction. And then around 2019, I started like really, really saying, okay, I've got to find this God that my mother and my father, like everybody told me exists, that I'm telling myself exists, and I'm telling myself that I'm having these experiences with, these dreams about. I got to find this God. And I remember my mom or my dad, I can't remember which one it was, but in a church service, I remember one of them saying that God will tell you his name. Like it's up to you, to get so close to God that God reveals his name to you. So it's like, I'm going to find his name. That was, one of the main things that I set out to do, was to find the name of God, because I knew God was a title. It was a noun, like it wasn't the name. So it's like, I'm going to find this God's name. And so I just started like researching. One of the first books I read was, and I'm sorry, I know this answer is so long. I'm sorry. One of the first books I read.
Please, please do not be sorry.
Okay.
Just we're listening. Oh
Okay. I
my.
can be long winded sometimes.
No, it's okay. It's
Um,
okay.
One of the first book I read was The Invention of the White Race. And in that book, I can remember I was sitting on my bed, and when I learned that the Africans, when they came over to North America, our ancestors were not Christian, and that one of the deciding factors for forcing our ancestors to become lifetime bondservants was the fact that they were not Christian, and the king at the time, they were holding to the Bible and saying that Christians could not enslave other Christians for life. And one of the members of the bourgeoisie said, "But the Africans, what about them? They're not Christians. Surely we can enslave them for life." And that was a shock to me, because all I knew growing up was Christianity. You know, um, I don't even know if I had the belief that we hear people saying today all across TikTok, that Christianity started in Africa. But it just like shocked me. And I called my brother. I sent them the screenshot, and they did not. They didn't like it. They did not like it. They told me it was a lie, not to send that stuff again. Um, and so I just decided I'm going to dig deeper into this. And then I read The Destruction of the Black Civilization. I started researching more about Egypt, not necessarily what I wanted to learn about, the teachings of Egypt. So I started learning about that. And I saw the fruits of the spirit from Egypt in the text. And I was like, okay, yeah, we gotta do a little bit more research. So I just kept researching and researching and researching, and I found out more things. I can remember me saying, like, it felt like I could see myself throwing up in the spirit. The more I learned, it felt like a betrayal. I went through processes of anger, disappointment, and then eventually it became like a scavenger hunt. And now I just have fun. Now I just have fun with it, because the more I learn, it it's like, wow, these people, like, what in the world were these people thinking? And but yeah, that's where I am today, and that's how I end up on TikTok.
I've heard you talk about your dad,
Mhm.
and it sounded like you had a very close relationship with your dad, and it looks like him being the pastor, that's where you got your introduction into religion
Mhm.
from your dad. What
Yeah.
was that like growing up as a pastor's kid? Reason why I asked this question, I've talked to some PKs, and they always, well, some of the people I've spoken to who were pastors' kids, they would say when they're in church and they see the way their father is revered in church, they think, wait till you see him at home. He's not what you
Mhm.
all. He's not. They see the disparity, right? How is daddy loved so much in church, but at home he's a tyrant. At home he's, you know, the persona in church, and that persona at home does not. They don't match at all. They put on a face when they, but. I mean, I hear a lot of people say, if you really want to know what a pastor is like, ask the people who live with him,
Mhm.
not who you see in the church. But it looks like with your dad, he is one of the few who was what he was at home is the same person he was in church. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, my dad was he would, I hate saying this cliche saying, but he would give the shirt off of his back, but he literally was that type of person. And one of the reasons why I just have such a disdain for the church, and I use that word disdain, because they hurt my father very bad.
Mm,
Um, uh, he that that man, he had so many adoptive children, should I say? Like, whenever we brought home friends who were having issues with their parents, they saw my parents as their parents. Um, he had a sister who struggled with drugs, and he I mean, like, he never saw her any different, and he was always there for her. Which I'm kind of glad that he passed away. I'm not trying to make this real like sad, but I'm glad he passed away before she did, because there's no telling what would have happened if he hadn't been here and she died the way that she did. We probably would have lost our dad from heartbreak. That's how much
mm.
he was there for people who were going through things like that, which I went through. Drug addiction as a young teenager, all the way up until about the age 21.
Wait, you
Um,
you 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 were a pastor's kid, and you had your struggles with drug addiction.
mhm, yeah.
This is the thing. Christianity does not stop people sinning.
Mm-mm,
No one ever stops sinning because you are a Christian. No one ever stops sinning because you're a born again, a born again, right? That sin nature, well, what they call a sin nature, I say it's just natural. That's who you are, right? You can't just say a few words, Father, Lord God, come into my heart, and think that
that
tomorrow
didn't
that.
help. I can tell you that definitely didn't help. That didn't help. It was actually my father. I say all the time that my father saved my life. It
Mm,
was him not judging me. Like, he would tell me, that he wasn't pleased, with the way that I was living my life. Um, but it was hearing the disappointment in his voice. Um, One Sunday he had called me. I wasn't living at home at the time. I was living with a group of friends. Um, we were in an apartment. I had gotten kicked out of the house. Um, and we were living in an apartment. One of my friends' dad had gotten her an apartment in his name, because he was tired of dealing with her, and so we were all living with her. And my dad had called me to check on me, and he could tell that I was high out of my mind, and I could hear the disappointment. But he didn't talk down to me. He never ever once talked down to me. And it was that, for some reason, that time when I could hear that disappointment in his voice, that was the moment that I decided that, no more. Like, I didn't want to do it anymore.
wow, that is that is, and this is when you were a teenager, did you say?
Yeah. So at 14, almost 15 years old, my mother and I had a disagreement. My brother had found out that he was having a child. I didn't know. I walk in late in the middle of them having a discussion with my mom. His girlfriend called my mother a B, called her out of her name, and I just lost it.
Lost it.
Yeah, so um, fought her, and then my mom pulled me and smacked me in the face and told me that I was trying to uh, kill her first grandchild, which I didn't even know that the girl was pregnant.
Mm,
And so me and my mom just really never got along like that. Although let me say that I love my mom, and if she ever saw this interview, um, she knows that I love her. But that's the parent that is very, very religious.
Mm.
Um, that's the parent, like when you were talking about the PK.
Yes.
My mom is first lady, evangelist. And my mom actually got my dad into church. So like
Oh,
my mother
really?
was raised in church, my father was not.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she's really a devout Christian. Like
Mm.
gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning for the last, I don't know, 30, 40 years and pray. Um, Fast every Tuesday, Friday night. And we, I don't even know how to say it because it feels sometimes like when you're talking about these things, from what I know now, from the indoctrination, like me being able to look on the outside and say my mother was heavily indoctrinated, right? Her parents were heavily indoctrinated. And the things that she says and does, I guess because I love her so much, I want to say she just didn't know any better,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
Um, and so that's how I choose to look at it, because even though we don't really have a relationship, like a close relationship, we do love each other, and we are there for each other when we need each other. But there are just things that happened in the name of this God that kind of, yeah, drove a lot of where I went.
Mm.
And then my dad was there, and he just kept me alive, I should say.
Honestly, just thinking about the way you speak about your dad, it just like an amazing man he was. Amazing man.
Yeah, it's so crazy because everywhere I go, like I'll just be out. He was very popular in the city, and everywhere I go, somebody will come and tell me how he saved their life, how
Mm.
he kept got them off the streets, how he would visit them in jail. I was getting my car fixed, and a young black man walked up to me. He was like, "You're such and such daughter, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "How do you know?" He was like, "Your dad used to come visit me when I was in jail." He was like, he came
Mm.
and visited me the night that he died. So he had, the night that he died, he went to visit somebody in jail before he had come home from work. He went to go and pay a visit. But he said that he said my dad helped him change his life. And so like he was out on the streets selling drugs, and now he's a mechanic, like, staying out of trouble, he said. But almost everywhere I go, somebody's, telling me um how my dad inspired their life. Like even at his funeral, like this group of motorcyclists walk in, like it's a whole bunch of white men with chaps on, and they walk in, and they're like there to, we was like, who is these people? It was like, daddy been riding motorcycles with, because my dad also loved like that. He was on a motorcycle when he died. But
Oh.
so my dad, rode motorcycles, but he had a whole motorcycle crew that we didn't even know about. But he was just that, you know, um, yeah. So.
I think your dad is one of the few. Um, Sometimes when I think about pastors, when I think about preachers, I feel a sense of just I feel like no, they're all bad. They're all bad people. They're all horrendous. They know the truth, and but then again, I have to stop and think, okay, a lot of them go in with really good intentions. A lot
Yeah.
of them, they're doing it for the right reasons,
Mhm.
and so
Well, I
even though
wouldn't
they,
even say a lot. Mm,
sorry,
I said I wouldn't go as far as saying a lot of them got in for the good reasons. Probably,
okay,
probably,
okay,
probably. About
small number. 'Cause you see all these news articles and every day, if one pastor or another is caught in the act, caught with his pants down, or his, it's this is we. it's the norm now.
Mhm.
We're used to that. So to find pastors who are, exemplary, that is, it's commendable. It is commendable. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing about your dad. So tell us, how did you start? What was it that got you to, what was the thing that made you realize, okay, no, Christianity cannot be true? This, no, 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 no. What they taught us about religion, what they told us about the stories, right? Like when I was growing up, they told us everything in the Bible. Those were real events. These were
Mhm.
things they happened. Everything in there is to be taken. They were all literal. There was nothing. There was no allegory in there. There was no made up stories. This was all something that all happened. This is history. So to find out that many of those things in the Bible were just fictional stories. Oh
Mhm.
my goodness, that was a huge shock. Anyway, so yeah, what was it that did it for you? Or what things did it for you? Because I know, not usually, for a lot of people, it's not one thing. One thing starts and then another, and then it's like a snowball effect. All these many different things happen.
I would say the main thing for me was all roads led to Rome. Like all roads
Mm,
led to Rome, and
mm.
that the name Flavian, and specifically Vespasian, Flavian, and reading his history, in the 12 Caesars. And it said that Vespasian healed a blind man and that he made the lame to walk. And I was like, I was like, wait, is Vespasian Jesus? So I started doing research and learned a little bit more about Titus, and then that's how I found Josephus. And then I started reading Josephus's books, Antiquities, and then I
Mm-hmm.
saw him talking about Noah's Ark in there. Well, first he was talking about yeah, he was talking about Noah's Ark, and then he was talking about how long Noah lived. And then he was saying, but don't go to the history. Don't go check the records. He was like, to try to see if I'm telling the truth about how about his age. Don't go try and check the records. And I was like, the only time people say that is when they don't want people to,
And
you
and
know.
did that stop you, or did you then decide, no, now I'm going to go check?
Oh no, there are no records of Noah
Okay, no,
existing.
Noah,
Yeah.
right, right.
But he was telling the people back then, like,
But
don't
then
go try to.
the Bible says he was 600 years old when he
Yeah.
entered into the boat.
But he was telling them, like, don't go and try to see if Noah actually lived to 600, because he was saying, like, I know that this sounds crazy. This sounds crazy that humans live this long. So he was like, don't go and try to double check me. And I was like, that's something weird,
Mm, mm,
to say. Only people who are lying will try to
yes.
convince you not to go and see if they're lying.
Mm, mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
the more and the more I read Josephus's stories, and then just like started comparing it. So I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare actual history to the Bible. And so I started researching it. Like once I learned about Josephus and Vespasian and all of them, I researched the Bible, and I look for actual history, and that's how I got into Hey Spicy. That's how I got into um actually like studying like the archaeological data, got into, um
mm.
just looking at it that way, but it was wrong. It was wrong.
And I have listened to you go into the research. I've listened to you just pull out from your wealth of knowledge. And is there like did you go to some special school, or this was all just your own personal research? Is this just
It's,
you were
yeah.
interested in? you did all that work.
Yep. It's just me trying to find God. Like, I literally, when I set out, I wanted to find God. Like, I didn't set out to deconstruct. I set out to find the God that everybody's telling me. And what I realized, and what this is what I'm starting to actually realize, because I've asked this question on my page, on my channel, for the last couple of lives. Why was the belief so important
Hmm.
with Paul? Because Paul taught faith and belief, and that's all you had to have. And so I've been asking myself, like, after you know uh learning all of the debunking, like a lot of the actual stuff in the Bible based off of archaeological data, reading the cuneiform tablets and stuff. It's I now wonder why belief is the primary requirement, the primary criteria. Because if you think about it, Paul supposedly started his ministry 2 to 4 years after the death of Jesus. And if Paul is within the same timeline, the same vicinity, walking with the disciples, all 11 other disciples that were with Jesus when Jesus was here, they saw Jesus crucified. Why is Paul preaching belief?
Mm, mm,
At
mm,
this
mm.
point, Paul should have evidence. Paul should, he's with the disciples, right? This is 2 to 4 years after. Why is faith in his, why is he saying you must believe he died? You must have faith he died. Why do I need faith if this happened 2 years ago? You should be
Exactly.
able to show me, right?
You
So
know, that whole Paul thing. Quick question for you before I go on to say what I was about to say about Paul. Do you think Paul was a real person or no?
I think, no, I think there
From the
was someone.
research.
So I don't think that there was a man named Paul.
Ah,
I do think that there was someone writing in the name of a Paul because they wanted to create this religion. That I do think. I know that there are several theories out there on who Paul might be. Um, I haven't pinpointed it down yet. For a second, I thought that Paul might be Eusebius, and they just dated his letters, you know, to that time. But
wow.
Galatians kind of throws that off. So I'm not sure yet. I don't have a good contender for who Paul might be, but no, I don't think Paul was a real person. There's not any um, extra biblical or non-biblical resources that even mention Paul. Even his scribe, like, there's nothing that mentions his scribe that walked with him. Um, so no, but the way Paul presents himself, he definitely is in opposition.
Hmm.
He's a Roman op, and he is for Rome. And the way they position him is hard for believers to see that he's kind of warming them up to Rome, and he's teaching them, the Roman way.
That okay. Now you must understand. For me, I'm a lay person. I was making my way to becoming a priest in the Church of England, but of course it fell apart just as I was about to go start theology school. But so yeah, I come from a lay person's perspective. Now, when I read the account of Paul, I see the problems. I see the issues, right? Um, now, how is it that Paul went from being the person who was trying to kill Christians to being the spokesperson for the religion? You know, if someone can successfully do that, and folks can't question his motives, then the chances are that this person was a con man. He snuck his way into the hearts of the believers. So Paul, he had tried to kill the Christians. He had threatened. He'd done everything, and saw that no, these people, whatever I do, these people are still going to believe in Jesus. What is it about this religion, and what is it about these people? And if these people grow, right? If these people, carry on the way they're going to they're going to stand in opposition to Rome. And so for him, it's okay. This is what this is my opinion. My opinion is that he devised a way to get to infiltrate into that camp,
Mm-hmm.
right? And what better way than to pretend that on his way to Damascus, he had an encounter with the very same person that these people would give an arm and a leg for.
Mm-hmm.
These people that they swear by, right? This person that came and they saw die and they walk. How about I go tell them that there Jesus, he encountered me on the way to when I was going to go kill them, right? And when he tells them this claim, um they think, oh wow, Jesus appeared to you. This guy must be serious. Oh, he's blind. Oh my goodness. And how he went from wanting to kill them to not long after being the main spokesperson. I look at Paul and I say, wow, you, my friend.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
you you did the thing. You did it. He went in there. He self appointed himself an apostle.
Mhm.
This guy, this guy came from nowhere and decided, look, I listen, I want in on this. Whatever this is, I want in on this, and now even starts to change the whole narrative. It all starts and ends with that Paul character. And so I think a lot of people don't they just think of Paul and don't think, okay, I hear people saying that there's a saying that's they say, um when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Mhm.
When Paul showed these people that he was, he had this hatred for the Christians, how did they think that he will now be on the side of Christians? So
Well, James didn't think that.
it's a lot of things. Sorry.
James didn't think that the brother of Jesus in the story. James was against Paul. He called Paul a con man,
Mm,
and he saw that Paul was trying to change. So like, if just going back a little bit, a lot of people like to say Paul was persecuting the Christians, but they were not. No, they were not Christians. They
yeah,
were,
true.
they were Jews who followed a specific Messiah. That there were multiple messiahs back
Mm,
in antiquity. So they followed a specific type of rebel, is what they did, in a specific one. And Paul wanted them to stop fighting against the Roman occupation.
right.
Vespasian and Titus, they were tired of having to go to war with the Jews. And so I can't definitively say that they created this thing, and it started with Paul with Galatians. It didn't even start with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Like it started that's the thing. It started with Paul and
Mm,
Galatians. So Paul didn't have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John to like read, because Paul's letters were the first, right? And he's writing to the church in Galatia to like you said, make himself authoritative, to
mm-hmm,
say that God appointed him. So he puts himself through these different steps, um, like to make himself I think it's called the Zadik or the Zadek, just like James is, right? James is the Zaddik of the Church of Jerusalem. So Paul makes himself uh the Zadok or Zadik. I can't say the name. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Of the Church of God. Um, and so, yeah, they were using different. It was different sects of Judaism, and so once Paul sets himself as an authority, he then claims to see Jesus, right, on the road to Damascus. And he creates this narrative that he is the new Moses, because you have Moses, then you have Jesus, and then you have Paul. So when he says that, when he tells the story of them having to lower him down the basket, down the wall in the basket, because uh, he's basically making himself uh, parallel to Moses. Moses was sent off in the basket, right? Jesus was in the manger. So Paul is setting that narrative, and James is peeping it. James is peeping what he's doing. James is like, no, this don't trust this dude. Like, they didn't
Mhm,
want
mhm,
Paul at first. And if you notice, like, if you read, like, the from Galatians backwards to Acts, you'll see that they keep saying, they keep referring to the law. They were not on this Jesus whimsy Roman road. All you have to do is have faith and believe that Jesus died type stuff. They were hanging on to the law, and Paul was trying to get them away from the law. Rome did not want to have to follow that law, because they said that it was too complicated, like it was too much, and they had way too many other cultures that they had to keep up with, because anytime that they would go into different lands and conquer it, they didn't care who those lands worship. They just had to add the Roman gods to their worship, and the Jews was like, no, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. So they just kept fighting back. So that was Paul's whole agenda. So if anybody reads back, you'll see that at this point they're not calling themselves Christians. They don't have the mindset of trying to be Christians. They're still trying to hang on to the law even after Jesus died. And Paul is the one convincing them that the law is no longer needed, right? And when Christians say, when Christians are saying faith without works is dead, when they're quoting that, that's literally James's snapback. Like, James is clapping back at Paul, because Paul is saying that all you need is faith, and that works does nothing, right? And James is like, "Oh, you vain!" I almost want to say, "Can I?" I don't know if I can curse on you. Can I curse
Oh,
on you? Oh,
absolutely.
okay.
Listen, you haven't done all that hard work, leaving religion and not be able to curse. Listen, oh my goodness.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
But yeah, so James is like, "You vain asshole." He's like, he's like, "How are you gonna say, come up in here and tell us that faith with that all you gotta do is have faith?" He was like, "Faith without works is dead. Like, that ain't gonna do shit." Like,
Mhm.
that's what James is saying. Like, James is talking cash to Paul, but you have Christians walking around quoting and saying, well, faith without works is dead. Like, they're almost in opposition with themselves, and they don't know it. They don't
Mm.
know that they're quoting opposing statements when they talk about all you have to do is have faith, and then they come back and say faith without works is dead. They're in opposition internally with themselves, and they don't even know it. And that's the crazy thing.
Wow. I mean, it's interesting. The things that when you haven't got a bias, reading this text and finding information, it's interesting, the information that you find.
Mhm.
But when you have a bias, there's something about that just clouds your judgment. And even when it is staring at you in the face, you're not able to see it until you drop all the
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 worship
biases.
and
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it just comes right at you in the text. You're like, whoa,
Mhm.
how didn't I see this? I was angry. I was angry at myself for not, figuring this out. But then I had to just, okay, remind myself that, look, I, I, I didn't have a choice. When you're in that bubble, it's hard. You hardly even read the Bible. I have read more Bible as an atheist. I have read more Bible as an atheist. I even read the Quran. I've got 3 Qurans when I was a Christian. I would never touch the Quran. Are you okay? Never touch the Quran. Now I've got 3, right? Because now it's like I haven't got all these hang ups anymore. Now we can, okay, what exactly is this religion about? What did they, how did we get to this point? You know? So, one question I do have for you is, um, why do you think that a lot of um, black people, right? Black people, I mean, in the US, for example, um, and religion. What is it about religion and black people? It's becoming so apparent when the whole Trump uh, era, and just over these few years during the pandemic, you're just looking at the culture over in the US and thinking, wow, religion is a huge deal. It's like, I don't know, what is it about that?
I think one, like I said, we've been indoctrinated into it since like forever, right? It started with the missionaries being given the order in North America to force migrate the enslaved Africans to Christianity after they changed the law saying that it no longer equaled freedom.
Hmm.
And then our ancestors used that, like they would have their times where they would get together and they would secretly have their um, sing their spirituals and dance, like beats with the mop bucket and all of that, and it got them through, right? um the some of the teachings that they got from their enslavers who were preachers, and they're telling them these inspirational messages of uh what their place on this earth, right? And how um it just the indoctrination process period. And then some of our ancestors then started to use it once the emancipation happened. They started to use it as a way to ignite change. So church services were used to create and plan revolutions. And so it just became a part of our entire process for fighting for rights here in the United States. If you look early on, like around Reconstruction, one of the reasons that um, Black civilization was starting to rise is almost everybody was becoming a pastor. Almost
Hmm.
everybody
Hmm.
was going to theology school, becoming a teacher, a preacher. So that was one of the only things that a Black person could be known for. That, like, the list for who's who in Black America is long when it comes to theology. And so I think that's one of the reasons why it's so rooted into our society, because that was the only thing that they would allow us, uh, you know, to even have recognition for, right? Um, but now I think the reason why, with all the knowledge, with all the technology, with all the tools, the books, the information that's out, I think now Black people feel like this God owes them because of
Mm.
the amount of stuff that we have gone through.
Mm.
Um, and not only in the U.S. I know you asked me about
Yes,
Black
yes.
Americans, but I feel like across the entire diaspora, I feel like we hold on to this God because he has not done anything for us yet, and we want him to make right. We want him uh, to be what everybody told us that he was. When it's like a woman holding on to the potential of an abusive spouse, or holding on to the potential of a what is that called when a spouse is just a liar?
And
What is it? They lie all the time. I can't think of the word right now.
a narcissist? No, I don't
Um,
know.
who was
Compulsive
leading?
liar? A
Compulsive liar.
compulsive liar.
Compulsive liar. Yeah. Um. Uh. If that's what it feels like, right? Like you're holding out for the actual promises that this
Ah,
person told you. Um.
pathological liar.
Pathological liar. There you go.
That's what's that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. Thank you, Osa.
pathological.
You're holding out for these gifts. You're holding out for these promises, right? And this person has broken your heart over and over and over again. They've come back and said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Give me time, give me time. I'm going to get it right. And then you believe them and then they do it again. And then you believe them and then they do it again. This is the relationship between this God and black people.
Mm,
Um, and I was thinking, you know, this morning, it literally, if there is a God, this God has literally shattered the hearts of so many black people that they're like it would like it's crazy for anybody to say, why don't you serve? Like, you expect me to continue to let you disappoint me and not ask any questions, not, be upset about it just because you're God. You're asking me to stay in an abusive marriage. You're asking me to stay
mm.
in an abusive relationship, you know? But that's what I think it is like with black people. We just feel like we're owed so much because we have not been given much.
Absolutely. And I will say from the African sort of perspective is the idea that you're suffering, right? Your
Mm.
God sees your suffering. He is in it with you. It's going to get better. It may not necessarily get better here on earth, but guaranteed, oh, on the other side. On the other side, you will get the mansion. You will get you will walk on gold, and
Mm.
you would, there's that assurance that, look, it's over on the other side, it is better. And so hope, they place their hope on God. He will make it better. And so telling people, okay, that this God doesn't exist, it's I mean, I've heard people say you should be able to offer people something, because a lot of people, they will, when they realize that there is nothing at the end of that hope, it could send them down a spiral. They would go, because that's the hope that they've had. And so, for a lot of people, you really don't want them to give up the religion. You need to just let them hang on to it, because what are you going to offer them? And so, I mean, I get it. I honestly do. But it doesn't change the fact that there is nothing at the end of the hope.
Yeah.
There is nothing.
Yeah, I I get what they're saying, like as far as older people and I don't know, maybe some people who struggle with empathy, like literally just don't understand empathy or have empathy at all. I think the like uh baby boomer generation, maybe like those that are like really, really heavily indoctrinated, um, may not be able to handle it. But
Mm,
sometimes they be the ones that cause a lot of the harm.
yes.
And because if we just leave them alone and they're the ones going to the younger generation and telling the younger generation the same things that they told us, then we're not really doing anything. Um I don't know. I do think that people need something, and what's so hard about believing in yourself, you know?
Mm,
What's so hard about believing in each other, and what's so hard about saying, I don't know where the hell I came from,
mm.
I don't remember what I was doing before I got in my mother's stomach. I don't remember what I was doing when I was in my mother's stomach. I don't remember the first year of my life, right? Why am I worried about what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be when I leave? Like, nobody has been able to tell me definitively and say, this is where you came from,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm,
We all
mm-hmm,
came from, and this is where everybody goes. The earth has been here for um, millions of
mm-hmm.
years, billions at that. There's billions of years of data of archaeological, finds that we can um dig into. If there was a God and he could not have been found in billions of years, hasn't shown his face in billions of years, what the hell am I gonna do? Why am I gonna waste my 80, 90 years, hopefully maybe 100 and some years, while I'm here trying to figure out where the fuck I'm gonna go? I'm sorry, trying to figure out where I'm gonna
No,
go
it's okay. Come on. It's
when
okay.
I leave. What the hell? That's just a waste of a ride to me. I think it's a waste
Mm.
of a ride. If you have good days, you're gonna have good days. It's life, right? Like, just believe in life, like, and believe in respecting other people's space. If you respect somebody's space, then you're not gonna hurt them, right? You're not gonna invade their space. You're not gonna hurt them. If you respect the earth as the place that you're just here for a short time. Think about this place like Disney World. Like, you don't own Disney World. When you go to Disney World and you're walking around their parks and you're getting on their rides, you respect the place because it ain't yours, right? Put the trash in the trash can. Follow the rules while you're inside the park. Do the same thing. Like, you're just here for a short time. You're here to experience whatever the hell you're here to experience. Experience the shit. Have fun. Have fun. Cry a little. Like, this is my motto. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me see.
Wait, hang on. Let's do this. Hold on, just
Let's
one
see.
second. Okay, so
I don't know if y'all can.
no, hold on.
I don't know if y'all can see that, but
Wait,
it's
just one
live,
second.
laugh, love.
No, hold on. Sorry. Let's see. Exit. Hold
Y'all see
on.
it?
Right. Did this. Okay. I don't know if folks can see it. What does it say? Just tell us what it
It
says.
says live, laugh, love,
All right. So live, laugh,
and
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 love.
love. That's all the hell
Oh,
you need to do.
that's
That's
it.
it,
When
right?
did you get that tattoo? Did you get it when you were a Christian or
Yeah.
afterwards?
Well,
Wow.
I wasn't in church. It was after my father passed away, but I had not deconstructed yet.
Okay. So how many years would you say, how many years has it been since you deconstructed? How many years has it been roughly?
Since 2020, so 4 years.
4 years. Oh, wow. And
2019,
now,
2020. Yeah.
do you have any labels at all? I'm an atheist. I'm a proud
Mhm.
atheist. In fact, this is what I say. I wear my atheism, like a whole cloak. I bask in my atheism. I'm so proud that I'm an atheist. Because why? You don't find many African atheists. Yeah, it's that's hard. It's hard to find one of those. And so to find somebody who is, like myself, I'm proud to be that. Yeah, I mean, I never knew that being an atheist was a position one could have. I thought everyone was born with with some kind of idea of God. But that people just get the wrong God. You're just indoctrinated into. So to find out that you could have a position where you don't believe in a God. Let me tell you, when that finally hit me, I listen, I took it and I ran with it and I haven't stopped since. So that's how I call myself. But for yourself, do you have any labels, or do you yeah, what would you, if you were to describe where you are on the faith or lack of faith spectrum, where would you say you're at?
First off, let me say I love the fact that you was like, I'm wearing this shit and I'm wearing it proud.
Yes.
Like I love that. I don't label it, and then I don't necessarily talk about it. One, because I do a lot of conversations, and what I notice is that when I am talking to believers, the first thing they want to know is what's in my head. What what
Mm,
what what is her belief system, so that I could start picking at her belief system and tear her down. That's why they always like the word atheist. At this point, they've wrote so many dissertations about that word that they fail to even, they're trying to make it now like, oh, it's a belief system within itself. It's a worldview. And so they attack the word atheist. They attack the word anti-theist. Like they attack all of these things as a way to to fight the ideology behind it, if that makes sense, to
mhm,
try to
mhm.
attack you in your credibility as someone who knows what they're talking about. Like that's why I don't do the labels, and I
Right.
don't necessarily share um
That's okay.
what my beliefs are. uh
Yeah.
like I do it with people that I trust, that's not going to be like,
That's
you know.
that's
Yeah.
that's absolutely fine. And I completely understand. When I tell people I'm an atheist, there are questions that come automatically because I'm an atheist, and
Mhm.
one of them is, so where do you think the universe came from?
Yeah.
It's just automatic because I'm an atheist. They always want to know so they can, start to figure
Mhm.
out what to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have considered maybe changing the name, maybe just, but for now
Oh no,
this
you
is
do
me.
well
And
with the name. You do well with the name. You don't have to change the name. You do well
it is
with the
you
name.
know for where I'm at right now in my head and in my lack of belief. Listen, I'm just enjoying being an atheist. I'm just enjoying it. It's been one of the best things that has happened to me. And
Mhm.
so yeah, we continue to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Now, guys in chat, what I've been doing, I have been putting thinkers links in the chat, her YouTube link and her TikTok link. Please make sure that you are following Thinker. And for people on YouTube, make sure to follow her on YouTube because she's going to be more active on YouTube as well as TikTok. Also, I'm going to put the link now to Thinker's book in the chat. Please, this book sounds like it looks like it is a hold on one second. This book looks like something I would definitely be purchasing because just one second, let me share um let's share the link to the book. One second.
This would be an
Let's see.
interesting read for me to go back and just like I know what's in the book, but like from where when I wrote that book to now,
Mhm.
it's the when I tell you I'm a completely different person, and that was the
Mm,
beginning of my whole mindset. So I don't know if you could say the deconstruction started in 2017, because I didn't start deconstructing from Christianity until like late 2019, 2000, or going into 2020.
mhm,
But I started deconstructing my mind from the harmful belief systems and core values, the negative core values that I had built up over the years in
mhm.
2017. And so this book is uh going through that first phase of that. And so it'd be interesting um to go back and just compare then to now.
Okay, so the introduction to the book says, tormented in her mind by the abuse in her past, the author powerfully talks about what helped her make a miraculous recovery from suicidal thoughts, feelings of worthlessness, and self hatred to becoming the influential woman she is today. She battled years of bullying, self hatred of her brown skin, a verbally and mentally abusive spouse, and years of depression, anxiety, anguish, and self sabotaging until one day she begged God to take her life or either give her a reason to leave. Read to understand how God performed a miracle in this woman's life that will powerfully send transformation to yours. Mm,
But do you see the difference? Do you see who's getting the credit even in that?
I can see it. When you have to beg God
Hmm.
to take your life,
I don't even remember writing that. I don't even remember
mm,
sending that to the editor. I don't even remember sending that to the editor.
mm, 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 mm. Yeah, that's profound. That is profound. That is. Mm. Guys, if anyone has any questions to Thinker, please you can ask your questions. And also, um, if you are not subscribed to myself, and listen, I don't know what you're waiting for. Make sure that you are subscribed, and don't forget to give this stream a thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. It helps all of that. And also, I've got a what you call it, my links scrolling right there if you would like to support the channel, or I've got super chats as well if you would like to give something towards these conversations, and just to promote this stuff, because lots more people need to hear this kind of conversations, right? So let's do something. Um let's go over to Thinkers. Is there any video at all on here? My goodness, this one has 3.3 million views. I'm definitely
They
going to
ain't
that
gonna
one.
teach about it either.
This
That's
is
what
about Black history.
I'm gonna tell y'all about Henry Boyd. And I need y'all to push this video like y'all did the last video, even though they still trying to suppress the last video. It's up to us to get their stories out, okay? So this is Henry Boyd. And Henry Boyd was born into slavery in 1802 until he was 18 years old, and he was apprenticed out to a cabinet maker in Kentucky. Boyd was so talented at making cabinets, he was able to use his skills to gain his freedom. At the age of 24, he moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, which was a free state, but it bordered Kentucky, and they were not as welcoming to African Americans. So it was really hard for him to find a job. And anytime a white employee would hire him, they would end up backing down because their white employees would threaten to quit. So eventually, he found a job working at a store as a janitor. And one day, while he was working, a white man came in drunk as hell, falling all over the place. So Boyd wanted to protect his employer. So he built something. Boyd invented the countertops at the store to
Hmm.
create space between his employer and his customers. That way, if they came into the store all drunk, they had something to lean on. This is a replica of one of Henry Boyd's countertop designs. This is what they look like today. So the next time you walk into a gas station or a grocery store and you lean on that countertop, I want you to think about Henry Boyd. Well, Henry didn't stop there. His employer was so grateful for the new countertops
Oh my
that he allowed
god.
Henry to start being contracted out to different carpenters, where he earned enough money to buy his brother and his sister's freedom. He also earned enough money to build his own workshop, which he grew to 4 different locations. And at one of those workshops, he invented something else. Now, at these workshops, Boyd assembled bed frames, but he decided to design his own bed frames, and then he invented bed rails. Now, his bed rails made the beds more sturdy, and his bed frames made the mattresses fit more snug. It was said that he had the most beautiful designs all around. Now, his white counterparts, who were competitors in the bed frame industry, loved his design so much they started copying them because they knew that Boyd could not get a patent. Because at that time, African Americans were not citizens and could not get their own patent. So Boyd went into business with his white employer, who ended up getting the patent for him. His employer even advertised that the bed rails were made by Boyd. Well, that made his white competitors mad because they kept burning down his workshops, and eventually he became too high risk for insurance companies, and Boyd
Wow.
had to retire. After he retired, he became very active as a conductor on the Underground Railroad, and he built a room that could house 5 slaves. He became so popular that people thought his house was the first stop on the Underground Railroad instead of Levi Coffin. In 1832, Boyd paid to post in the paper that he believed that the cholera outbreak was waterborne, but they didn't want to believe him because he was black, and more than 55,000 people died from a. They ain't gonna teach about it either. That's why it's up to us. So I'm gonna
Mm,
tell y'all about Henry Boyd, and I need
right.
y'all to push this video like y'all did the last video, even though they
Oh,
still.
that's the end of them. Did
Okay.
you see the did
Right.
you see the comment on there like uh I don't care about who created what because it's not
Wait,
gonna
hold
help.
on.
They ain't
Hold
gonna
on.
teach about it
Okay,
either.
hold on.
That's
Let's see this comment here.
Um
Let's see the comment that says this one. Oh goodness, how do I need to be able to extend this so we can see. 1 second. Okay, I don't care who invented what. We all that live in the US need to worry about now. Not saying he isn't a great man, but that's not going to help anyone today. Oh my goodness.
that whenever we talk about Black history here in the
Mm,
US,
mm,
those
mm,
are the type of messages that we get. It's like stop thinking about yourselves, stop stop
mm.
finding out about yourselves, stop talking about yourselves. It doesn't matter. Like it matters only when we're being taught about something that somebody in other communities have done. But when we start researching and uncovering more about Black history, um, learning more about what's going on in Africa, that it's this concerted effort to discredit the information or try to suppress the information to keep us from saying to keep us from looking deeper into it. And that's the same way that we see them doing with Christianity today. There is this
Mm.
concerted effort to keep Black people into Christianity, even to the point to where they're starting to say that Jesus is Black. Like I've never in
Oh
my
my.
life seen so many white people willing to say that Jesus is Black today. Like, but we see it, right?
Oh, Jesus is black. I mean, as though as if that would somehow make it any better. As if it will make it any better that
But for
Jesus
some
is black.
people, but for a lot of Black people, they are like so falling all over themselves, happy to hear white people say that Jesus is Black because it feels like an acceptance. It feels
Right.
like okay, now they're moving more
Mm,
towards
mm,
accepting that Jesus is Black. Some think, oh, they're now moving more towards accepting that we were here first,
right,
right?
right.
And so there are a lot of Black people that are falling for it, even
Mm-hmm,
ones that were
mm-hmm,
not in
mm-hmm.
church that are willing to come back because they think Putin revealed the big secret because Putin just loves Black people that much that he just got to tell the world that Jesus was really Black. Like,
Oh my goodness. Okay, we've got a couple of questions here. Right. Let's see. Thinker, did you ever see changes in your life as a Christian?
mm,
Um,
changes in my
good
life.
changes. Good changes. Did you see any good changes? I mean, was there anything you could look at as a Christian and say, okay, if we weren't for being a Christian, I wouldn't be this sort of person. I wouldn't be this best person when it came to this or to I mean, I think that's what that question is.
No, no, I think not I think I know I am who I am and because of the my parents. My parents loved people. That's all I saw. I saw my parents treating people with respect. And that's how I grew up and that's how I am. Being a Christian hadn't done didn't make me that way. Me not being a Christian didn't change it. It was the teachings of my parents. There's absolutely nothing that I can say um, that because I'm a Christian, this thing happened. Nelly said something on live last night. He was like, I'm just gonna go on and admit it. He said I was lying. He said I was the one who was telling myself all that stuff. And I knew it then. He's like, I knew it then and I didn't say anything. He's like, but now I'm coming clean. It almost felt like I don't know. He was like, I'm coming clean tonight.
Oh
So
my.
yeah, no.
Okay, another question we've got here. Let's see. Right, let's see. What's the other question? Great interview, sisters. AJ, thank you, AJ. Let's see. An ideal. mm, okay. Um. Okay. Think out what. Why were you? Why were you bullied? And did you have family or friends support at that time?
So my very first bully was there was a woman at the church. Not necessarily calling her a bully, but my very first experience that built these mindsets that allowed me to get bullied. But when I was 9 years old, my sister and I would go over to this church member's house after church and play with her daughter. Her daughter was our friend, but I had a crush on her son. She was a white lady. I had a crush on her son. We were outside playing. I go inside to get a glass of water, and her and her son are sitting at the table talking, and he's telling his mom that he has a crush on my little sister, and she tells him that he doesn't need to like my sister because she's light skinned and pretty, and that he needs to like me because I'm brown skinned and ugly people treat you better. Ugly girls treat you better.
Oh no.
And when I heard her say that, I went into my friend's room and I just sat on her bed. I didn't even tell my mom what she said, but it was at that moment that I realized that I was not pretty, and that because I was brown skinned, that nobody was going to love me, and that I needed to do the extra things in order to be loved. And so I just, I took what she said and I believed it. And then in high school, because Black women are expected to be curvaceous, and I've never been curvaceous.
Like me, I've always been curvaceous.
And
I
I
have.
love, like, I be so like looking at Black women's curves, and I'm like, why? If there is a God, why did you like what the hell did you run out? Did you run out of butt? Did you run out of butt?
us,
You
us
know,
curvaceous, us curvaceous girls want to be like you.
uh, and you know what? And I learned that. Like I was at Soho House having lunch with uh this lady that I was going to do some business with, and she said the same thing. And I was like, the crazy thing is that women with curves are looking at women with pancake booties like me and saying, man, I want that. And then women like me with pancake booties, we're looking at women with curves and we're saying, man, I want that. And at the end of the day, we just need to love what we got, because there is always somebody looking and saying, damn, I want that. Right. We just love what we got. And I had to learn that. And so the book was my process of doing that. Right. Because I had gotten to the point to where I did not love myself. I did not even know what I looked like. Like I had neglected myself so bad that if I closed my eyes and tried to meditate, I couldn't picture myself. I didn't know what my face looked like. I couldn't picture myself. And in saying that, in talking to a lot of women, every time I say that, a lot of women say, you know what? I don't know what my face looks like if I close my eyes. Like I never thought about that. I never thought that I can't see my face. It's because we're so used to putting ourselves on the back burner. Like we've been taught to put ourselves on the back burner. Thank you, Kalia. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've
Oh
been
no,
taught.
there's been a few people. They listen. The freak. How are you? Good to see you. You're not ugly. What else? Who else? Someone said nonsense. You're beautiful. It was yes. Get out of here, girl. You are beautiful. support
Thank
you.
you.
My
Thank you.
goodness.
It took it wasn't
Mm,
until 2018 that I was able to even start to see that. And that ain't even that long ago. So
mhm,
I'm this
mhm,
grown woman, and because of that belief system that I had to, accept whatever. My first boyfriend I was 18. That's the man that I married. Like I didn't in
mm,
high school I didn't have the boyfriends. Like I didn't go on the dates. I never went to the prom. Although I was a cheerleader, right? Although um I had friends, um I, I just I don't know, guys didn't like me. Like I was the girl that they would walk up to and say, "Hey, such and such want to take you to the prom," and then the guys would go, "Ugh," like and laugh. That was me. That
oh
was me.
no.
But so my nicknames were Skinny Baby, Pancake Booty, Cornflake Lips, Mosquito. Like I was everything in school. And so from going from the church member overhearing the church member tell her son that the reason that I would make a good girlfriend was because of my brown skinness that made me ugly, that made me humble, right? And I built up that core value, that negative core value, and I allowed myself to, be mistreated by the man that I married a lot.
Mm,
Um, I went through, domestic violence, being called bitch all the time. It was one time he wanted to go out. He was hanging out with this rapper, and I had just had our second child. It was right after getting married, by the way. And he wanted to go hang out with this rapper, and I told him, I was like, I need you to stay home. I got two kids, one's a newborn, and he held me down on the ground, sat on top of me, and just like started like dropping spit in my face over and over and saying, "Shut up, ho, ho, ho," like over and over. And these are things that I thought that I like literally, this is how fucked up it is. Like I would literally thank God that I was no longer on the market.
mm,
Um,
mm,
you know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like
mm,
it
mm, mm.
that bad. And like I told you, I'm very transparent about where I've been, because sometimes I think that people need to see the extreme of it all so that they know that you can come out of it.
Mhm, mhm,
If people try to pretend and paint life as if it's all cherry and blossoms like Christianity does, because God answers all prayers, right? If you're a Christian, everything's gonna go right, right?
mm,
Um, so I'm very transparent about where I came from.
yeah.
Um, but those me being bullied and me believing those negative core beliefs, and then when I would try to say, "Hey, you're hurting me. This is hurting me," then it would get turned around to where me speaking up, where my voice speaking up for myself, then became a "you're too much."
Hmm.
You do too much.
Damned if you do,
Mhm.
damned if you don't. We've got another question, and I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And now you're a grandma, right?
Mhm.
Now
Yeah.
you're a grandma. I've heard the baby in the back. I think I've seen the baby. I'm not sure if I've seen the baby, but
Yeah,
I've
he's on my
heard
social
the.
media.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's all over my social media. So
Okay, I think yeah, I've seen the baby, and I think, oh, she's a granny. Oh my goodness, how many grandkids have you got?
so I have two right now, and what my first granddaughter is my sister-in-law's granddaughter. Actually, my
Right.
sister-in-law died in 2021 during COVID, and so I
So,
adopted her two daughters, and so
oh, you did.
my mhm,
You adopted your
yeah.
sister-in-law's daughters. Oh wow.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
Gosh, you're an
and her son,
amazing
so
woman.
it's three. So, her oldest daughter had her first child, and so that's even though like we're going to teach her about her grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm TT Granny to her. But although she just calls me Granny,
Oh,
like every time she sees me, she's like Granny, Granny. So that's my grandbaby. But my oldest son had his first son in November. So he is now 4 months, and then now they got another one on the way. So I'm gonna have,
Oh
yeah. So
goodness. Oh
great.
wow. Listen, your quiver is getting fuller and fuller.
Yeah,
Mm-mm-mm.
yeah.
The Bible says, "Blessed are those who've got their quiver full." Oh my. Oh, but my goodness. I mean, I see the rocking chair. Is that where you usually? Because you
Hmm.
know when we're listening to you, we can hear the baby and we can see your looking after them. Is that where you sit to
Yeah,
take care of? Oh,
yeah.
right. Oh, fantastic. And this is amazing to hear your experience and today where you're at now. I'm just so honored that you would share with us, and I'm thankful that you have made all these strides, and look at you now, right?
Mhm.
um I'm just in awe. I am in awe of you. Honestly, I am in awe of you. Um, there's
Thank
another
you.
question. I think there's a couple more questions, and yeah, we'll take those two more questions, and then we'll start to wrap this up. Gerwog asks, "Was there an emotional component to religion for you? If so, what advice do you have for people dealing with the emotional entanglements of religion and emotions religion preys on? Thanks."
There is a lot of emotion in religion. There's a that's a very loaded question.
Just
Um,
just answer it as brief as you can. And also, guys, please do follow. I'll put her links in the chat. These are the sorts of things that Thinker does she does talk about, right? And I will tell you, the amount of the opposition that she gets from especially men. I don't know what it is about Thinker. I don't know what it is about her that makes them quake in their boots. When they come, it's as though they're coming for a fight. And I'm like, excuse me, this woman's just doing her thing. She's just, it's like they're about to go into war with her,
mhm.
right? And so yeah, please, some of your questions, you can get the answers when you go
Okay.
listen to her on her platform. She is amazing. Oh my goodness. Sometimes her lives go on for hours. How many hours do you go for?
Sometimes I think we've done a 36-hour live before where we took turns hosting the live. But most of the time, so from 9 to like 5 in the morning.
Oh
So
my
maybe
goodness.
what's that, like 7 hours?
Wait, 9 a.m. to
No,
5.
no, 9 p.m. Like we'll go live between 9 p.m. Central to like
So
5
9
a.m.
9 p.m. your time, 9
Mhm.
p.m. and then till 5 a.m.
Mhm.
5 a.m.
Yeah. We try to be uh the podcast or the lives for people who are working
Mhm.
third shift. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. Because
yeah.
when I wake up here, that's when I'm tuning into you. So you're my morning, to get up and trying to get things done, and I'm listening to listening to those conversations.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, 7 hours! Yikes! Anyway, guys, please go tune in. The kind of conversations that Thinker has over there. It's the knowledge that she has, the wealth of knowledge. Oh my, when you listen to Thinker just produce, the knowledge from the Bible. That's what I enjoy the most. She knows the Bible like it is, like she wrote it. She knows what happened where, what is she knows the backstory. She knows hey, listen, you can't come and bullshit her with your claims of she will tear you apart. She listen, where did you get that knowledge from the Bible?
Just studying it, reading it. Like I wouldn't say I know everything because that's a big ass book. But I do I read and study every day um just to be ready for stuff like that, right? But yeah, just reading it. I wanted to answer Girl Walk. The
Please
the
get
emotional
what.
component to the religion is typically the Holy Spirit. Like it comes through that Holy Spirit, that the the Holy Ghost.
Mm.
Um, and that some people get offended when I talk about that. So I'm very careful with my words. They get scared almost even because they're like, you're not supposed to talk about the Holy Ghost. But that's the emotional component, and a lot of preachers, pastors, evangelists, teachers know how to manipulate people through that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lady that joined the live. She was on the music board, and she said that they would put vanilla spray into the air vents. They would set the music at a certain pitch to give people the illusion that the Holy Spirit had come in and that they were experiencing the Holy Spirit. So
No
that
way.
emotional component, yeah, that emotional component that's that Holy Spirit.
Mm-mm.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. 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 I tell people, doubt everything you hear in church. Doubt it all. Because I have a profound story, right? And this is what, for me, I was like, no, I don't care what church, when you say, oh, this happened in church, that happened in church, this happened in church. No, 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 no. I don't care if I don't see it for myself, if I don't do the digging myself to get to the truth. I'm sorry, I'm doubting your claims. I remember this was with my mom. I remember talking to my mom when she was alive. She worked with the Ministry of Youth, Social Work and Development, and the motherless. The back. This is back in Nigeria. Motherless babies' homes were under her care. The youth homes were under the homes for children who were unruly, didn't have anywhere to go. The old people's homes. Well, they didn't have many, but just the one or two that they did have was under this. So mom oversaw quite a few of these things. And so um I was having a conversation with my mom about one of her friends who I remembered couldn't have kids for a long time, couldn't have kids. And so I don't know what we were talking about. And this is years later, right? Years later, when we used to go to church and all that. And so I was asking my mom about her friend, and we got to talking about her babies. Um, and my mom said, "Oh, you mean the babies that we got from the motherless babies homes?" I said, "Excuse me, say what now?" My mom said, "Didn't you know?" I said, "No, what?" "Oh, the babies were from." I said, "No, all my life, all this time, I thought that your friend, who was the woman in church, she, I saw her pregnant. She had twins. They brought the children for dedication, child dedication. That I've gone years telling people, oh, my mom's friend could not have children for 18 years and God did it for her. Are you telling me that this my mom I think my mom figured out, okay, she I didn't have a clue what had gone on, right? And my mom said, okay, yeah, it was all um part of the plan. Mom was involved in the plan. Listen, I was upset with my mom. I was upset with everything, right? I don't know who and who were in this plan, right? But they plan that she will, have. She came to church with, it looks like pregnant belly, right? And she's 9 months later, she's giving birth to twins. Because we're trying to tell everybody that, look, this is, huh? Ah, my goodness. Doubt everything you hear in church.
Yes.
What's
Wow.
happened? What's happened to Thinker? Thinker, you seem to have,
Is
hold
it?
on,
Can y'all hear
seems
me?
like it's stuck. I can hear you, but guys, is it me or
Um,
what?
Let me see. Let me try this. Okay, and then
Like it's
oh,
stuck. Let's try it again. Nope. Look, okay. What you could do is go out and then come back again. Go out of the studio and then come back in again. There we go. Now you've got only me. Yes, doubt. Listen, you see, miracles, all these things. Listen, huh? People lie. They doctor things. And I'm telling you, this isn't. This is my mom. I'd gone years, and all my mom's friend had couldn't have children for 18 years, and the Lord did it for her. And you know, not this. Never mind.
That is wild.
It is wild. It is wild. It is wild.
And it makes me think, like, when people orchestrate things like that to try to make people believe in this God, like what goes on in their minds, like, as far as, like, they have no conscience. No.
I think,
like, what makes you want to say, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, 18 years, no kids. And of course, we want children. We want to, have that feeling of, I too am a mother. I too, I understand. And I can see where my mom was coming from. Mom was trying to help. This is her friend. Mom was, but why deceive people? Why tell? Because now there are people in the church who can't have kids. They listen to this story and they think, God, when? When is it going to be me? What am I doing wrong? Have I not got enough faith? Have I not done the right things? Am I not praying the right prayers? And, that can do damage to people. I just, no.
That's the issue right there, like the deception. If you have to manipulate these stories to make people believe that this God exists, the whole time that you're doing this, and you're manipulating it, like, when people do that, I can't say that they just want to help somebody, right? Because, and I'm not talking about your mom, I'm talking about, like, like, for example, the people that orchestrated the eclipse, the map of the eclipse and the totality of the eclipse, because they wanted people to come to Christ, and because the last days were coming, so they faked the map with the totality, saying that it was making an X over the United States, and moved the cities of Nineveh all into the same path, right? To lie and say that the eclipse was going over 9 cities called Nineveh. You're literally orchestrating this and making this up, knowing that you're lying, right? Knowing that you're creating this object of deception, but telling yourself that you're doing it for Christ. When that is the same thing the Israelites did, not for Christ. The Israelites did it for their God, to try to convince people.
Elohim?
No, not Elohim. All of them did it, actually, but
Right.
mainly the Yahwehists, because the goal was to get people to worship Yahweh. The Elohists were fighting against that. Like, the Elohists didn't want to worship Yahweh; they wanted to continue to worship El. And southern Israel, and the Judites, the tribe of Judah, right?
And those the priests, the Judites, would they be the priests?
So there were some in both.
Okay.
So as they started, to combine, but the upper northern kingdom of Israel were mostly the snooty, priestly Yahwehists. But what was I trying to say? Yeah, they were the primary ones that were taking history and writing it and giving this God Yahweh the victory over things that never really even happened to them. So, like, we see this today in society. If you have to create these fabricated stories about this God that you were indoctrinated into, then you are no better than the Israelites who did it in antiquity.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing the same thing that they did in antiquity.
Of course, of
Like,
course.
yeah, I just,
Mm. Oh, my.
I have
I
no,
mean, sorry, go on,
I
please.
was going to say, I have no sympathy, no, for those who intentionally set out to deceive somebody in the name of
Mm.
this God.
Yes, yes.
I do.
I mean, the only reason why I talk about it is because my mom's no longer here. So,
Yeah,
you know, my mom's no longer here. So,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
it's okay.
I
It's
wasn't
okay.
talking
It's
about
okay.
your mom. I was talking about
It's okay.
the
It's
creating the
okay.
deception. Like,
I listen. That was the thing. That was my anger towards my mom. I struggled with that because you why would, but never mind. I mean, I've found a way to try and make it not so not so not so bad, and not so, not to put blame on my mom. Mom was trying to help a friend. Yeah, yeah, never mind. And
but
so
your mom
my
didn't create the deception. Your mom just didn't tell it. You see what I'm
mom
saying?
helped.
Oh, she created it?
No, she helped.
Oh.
Mom helped. She helped the deception. Look, it was mom who helped get the babies.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whose idea it was to have this, stage by stage,
Oh, okay.
the pregnancy going from 3 months to from, I don't know whose idea that was, but mom's the one who got them babies. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
okay. I thought you were just saying that she just like held her secret, but she helped her.
Mom helped. I'm telling
Oh,
you, my mom worked with the motherless babies home. My mom was one of the people on the top. So those babies could not have been given to that woman without mom.
not your mom.
Yeah, mom had to instigate. And when people come and drop off the babies, they would know what is a convenient, what is the best baby to give to who. And of course there was the adoption process. I can imagine that they jumped some, they must have twisted some of the rules somehow. They would have,
Mm.
just to try and, because these twins, here comes these twins, and we've got to, I honestly do not know, yeah. Anyway, just as we start to wrap this up, what drives you now? What is the driving force? You've got nearly 300,000. And if you don't mind, how long have you started your TikTok page?
I started my TikTok page in 2020 during the shutdown. So it took me a while to get to garner that. And TikTok is doing some weird stuff too. Like every day they're taking followers away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're like cleaning up dead accounts or what, but it took me a couple of years to even break through understanding TikTok and how to grow the platform.
Mm-hmm.
But my goal with having the conversations on TikTok about deconstructing, I just want people to think and deconstruct from the harmful belief systems, um, and kind of start asking themselves, why do I believe what I believe, and why is belief so important? Why is it that only belief is important in this thing? And then looking at the foundation, looking at how these stories in this text are the foundation of a lot of our systems here in America, even starting with the patriarchal system, and how that system, that male dominated system, subjugates women. Go back to the story of Adam and Eve. That's one of my favorite conversations to have, because if we look
Yes.
at it, Eve was like, I'm deconstructing from fucking Yahweh. Eve was like, I'm deconstructing from Yahweh. Adam
Yeah.
wanted to deconstruct. Adam sat there and watched Eve, and to see what's going to happen if Eve deconstructs. Is
Mm-mm.
Eve going to die?
Hey, this
Right.
is
And once he
this
saw
is
that Eve
we
didn't
this
die,
this is the first time I'm hearing that Eve wanted to deconstruct from Yahweh. Hey, that is profound.
Yeah.
The deconstruction started at creation story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm,
Yeah, from the very
mm.
beginning. And that's
Wow.
why I asked the question, like, what is the obsession with wanting this world to end? Because the
Mm,
story has been that the world was going to end as soon as it started. Like, what is the
yeah.
obsession with that? Right. And who's the one pushing that narrative? It's Yahweh. It's Yahweh pushing that narrative. And so if you look at why did Yahweh lie to Adam and say you're gonna die the same day if you eat the fruit? Right? Yahweh knew that Adam was never created to live forever. He knew that Adam was not going to die the same day. What was the purpose of the lie? And a lot of times Christians say, oh, it's the test of free will. No, it's because whoever wrote that
Yeah.
story, the concept of that God is actually, they're the same. They're the same substance. They're men. So
Mm,
there's another man that needs other men to believe that this man is over this man and that this man has power over this man. So I'm going to make sure you never know that we are the same.
mm.
And so when they use the word God, um, man has become like the serpent is saying, if when you eat this fruit, you will become as one of the gods, knowing good and evil. I agree. Right, knowing good and evil. That's just the knowledge. The That God Yahweh was protecting its status as a god. But if you notice later on in the text, the sons of God becomes the sons of Israel. It becomes humans who have associated themselves with a god.
Mm,
And so it's really, you are the same substance. The lie is to keep you from knowing exactly that y'all are the same. This God is a
mhm,
man. You are a man. It's the same. You're human.
mm. Did I have I heard you once say, I might be wrong, that you're neurodivergent?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not something that I dreamt. I'm sure
Mm-mm.
I heard that. I'm like, oh, interesting. And I don't know what it is about neurodivergent people and beliefs. Listen, um, it, a lot of neurodivergent people can um I don't know. It's just, yeah, religion, neurodivergence. I don't know if it is something about, being neurodivergent just doesn't work well with
With
religion.
religion.
It's just something. I think that would be a research. That would be a whole thing to dig into, because I'm being assessed myself for what was it? ADD. ADD. So yeah, I'm just waiting on stuff. But I mean I've got a neurodivergent child, and from
Mhm.
9 years old, he just no, he ain't doing religion. Oh no, 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 no. He just not interested. So
For
yeah,
some
I
reason,
I
it
think
always starts at age 9.
sorry.
For some reason, every time I talk to a neurodivergent person, and then they start to realize that they start questioning the world, for some reason that it always starts at age 9.
Really?
Every time I talk to one, it's always about 9 years old, 9 years old, like
Wow.
all the time. Yeah, I don't
Wow.
know what it is about the 9-year old, but yeah.
Maybe it's just the development, maybe the stage of development at age
Mhm.
9. It could be something to do with that. I honestly don't know.
That might be
But
when we get like when we uh have consciousness of self. Maybe I don't
mm,
know.
mm,
I don't
mm.
know, but it always starts around age
that
9.
that is a research. That's a whole research topic. But guys, just so you all know that Thinker does a I think is it every Saturday, where you take people on deconstruction classes.
Hmm. Yeah,
So Thinker's not just one of these faces that just want to have her 300,000 subscribers, and no, She's doing the work. She is impacting lives, right? She is you see everything what she's talking about here, she's putting it to work and helping people who are questioning, who are trying to make sense of their the doubts that they have. And so far, so good. She is forming a community, and I particularly like the fact that you've got strong women as part of your community, and that is a whole. It just it shows the person that you are, the people that you have, the women who are around you. And I think, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
shows how that it's a testament to the person that you are.
When we
So
first started doing the lives and we just kind of like came together, it
mm.
just kind of like came together. Like, and I was thinking about that last night because we were sitting on live last night just jamming
Oh
out.
yes, I saw
Yeah.
I woke up this morning thinking, okay, what's happening here? Not the TLC. The TLC was, y'all were grooving. I said,
Moving.
what are these ladies up to here?
But you would think that we all live in the same city. You would think that we had had lunch together, that we have had drinks
Mm,
together, right? And the way that we, just groove out. And but when I first started going live, we just kind of attracted to each other because of the energy, and we recognize the strengths in each other, right? And I, we're like, for example, when Fun goes up, Fun has a
fun's here.
yeah,
fun,
she has
fun,
a
fun was just, she wasn't keeping up with the rap. She was just
no, Fun likes the rap.
no, but
Uh,
her rap game was
oh, she trying to say.
her rap game was come on, fun. Because
But
you kept saying, fun, right? That's your turn now, your turn, and fun is like,
Fun was on it. She was on it last night. But she has
but
a specialty, right? Like Fun has
oh, I love her.
knowledge
I
about.
absolutely adore her. I do. Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah. And so I sit back when it's Fun, when I know that this is Fun space, like she knows what she's talking about. I sit back and I let Fun, do her thing.
Yes.
Same thing with Breezy, same thing with Rhea, right? So like
Mm, mm.
just recognizing each other's strengths and recognizing our own weaknesses and not trying to overpower one another. And I think that's why, we mesh well and are able to provide a space where we're not only entertaining but also providing value. So that's what I like about it.
And just going off from what you just said, to have, this is your platform, but you allow other people to shine, you
Mm.
allow other people to just take charge. And that to me, I just think that is commendable, because some people, no, 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 this is my space, I run things around here. And it just shows that you're very confident in the person that you are,
Mhm.
and you are not afraid to share your space with other people. That's a quality of a good leader. That is leadership, and that's what we need in this whole deconstruction community. This is nobody's I'm not no nobody's the mother of all deconstruction. Nobody's the father of all
Exactly.
deconstruction. Nobody's the,
Exactly.
you bring your ideas, I bring my ideas, and
Mhm.
together, we can make this work together. Not, I watch some people's lives and I think, okay, it's all about just that one person, okay, needs their space, which is okay. It works well, but that I don't know. I don't function like that. I can't. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like to, have conversations with people. I like to, get other people's opinions. I like that. But you do amazing. Oh my goodness. Mm-mm.
Thank
So
you.
yes,
Hey,
wonderful
it takes
community.
a village.
Yes.
They did what they did all the years of indoctrinating us, right? They didn't do it by themselves, right? They had missionaries go out and indoctrinate us. So it's gonna take a village to deconstruct the indoctrination, and that not I think if we could create like pockets of villages to where
Yes.
we can go out and help people, just provide the information, right, to those that are willing to accept it. And then sometimes the goal can just be just to ignite a thought, like just ignite a thought. And then
Mm,
when that thought happens, that person is going to go and research. They're going to say, let me find the answer to that. Like, sometimes it's just about igniting that light, reigniting the light,
mm-hmm.
and getting them to think.
Yeah, but thank you. Thank you for the space that you hold. Thank you for the person that you are. It's been a pleasure meeting you, even though it's only been a very short time that I have come across yourself, but it has been amazing so far. And just listening, I mean, the other day I was just in there listening to yourself and Sebastian. That combination. That combination of Sebastian and Thinker, that just everything else stops. Whatever these two are talking about, let's tune in here. This is where we are stopping.
I
We're
love
not
that.
scrolling anymore. We this is oh my goodness. Both of you, the way you rub off on each other, it's a delight for people who have left religion. You help make our lives so much better. And so I do thank you. And thank you for honoring the invitation to share your story.
Thank you.
Might get you back later on. We would think of something, because I know there's lots of people, they love you, and they love what you stand for. And yeah, you deserve your accolades. You deserve the flowers.
Mm.
um and whatever I can do to help. I mean, me, I'm just here in my own little small corner, but I appreciate, and I'm right here, just supporting
Well, I
all.
appreciate like just what you're doing here. Like I want to be able to do these interviews as well, and hopefully once you teach me your YouTube tricks, and I'll be able to have you on and interview you and hear your
Right.
story.
Let
So
me one more time. Let me put your links in the chat. So please, guys, make sure you follow Thinker on both TikTok and YouTube. She's going to be doing more content on YouTube, and also I will put the link to her book as well. Yeah, I would put the link to her book in the chat. Please go buy a copy. Um, buy a copy. My goodness, I need to get me a copy of that, because just the wordings from that book, that would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting to read. And so, guys, in there are her links. Thinker, when next are you going live so people can tune
it'll be
in?
it'll be later today.
Sorry,
Later today.
later today.
Mhm. But I
So, what
just
sort
got
of time?
access to
CST.
go. Yeah. And I just got access
Go
today.
on, go on.
I just found out today that I got access to go live on YouTube now. So I've reached enough subscribers on YouTube to go live on YouTube. So
Congrats.
we might be getting rid of
Yes.
TikTok.
Hey, YouTube people, hey, my goodness, Thinker's on her way. She's on her way here. But my goodness, she does amazing work. And thank you so much for sharing with us, everyone. Please,
Having me.
on your way out, do not forget to give the stream a thumbs up. I appreciate you watching, and yes, everyone, thank you all, and Watch this space. Thinker will definitely be back, but make sure you follow her so that you can go catch her live later on. Right, CST. What sort of time CST?
Um, most likely around about 6 or 7 Central.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, okay, so it's about 6, 7 CST. Let's look for
Mm-hmm.
her and you will find out. All the links are there. Right, everyone. Thank you all so much. And I will think that you have any last words and we can.
I just want to say thank you. I enjoyed this conversation. Keep up the great work. I will be in the audience with your next interview. And if there's anything that I can ever do, let me know.
Oh,
Appreciate
fantastic.
it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone, you all be kind to yourselves, be good, and you are good without God. You are
Oh,
good
I like
without God. We don't need God, especially I mean today's Sunday. I mean, I haven't had to go and give money to a God somewhere.
that.
I spent time with my son, took him out to the park. We've had a lovely time. We don't need God on a Sunday. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, 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 thank you. Um, the Thieves Helpline. Let's see the operations. Do you know if the Thieves Helpline is cancelled? I don't know. I have no clue. I have no. What Thieves Helpline? Which one? What Thieves Helpline? I'm not sure about
What
that.
is that?
Thieves Helpline. Not sure. Is it the
Is that another show?
is it the Atheist Experience? The Atheist Experience. I think Atheist Experience is still going. So I don't know about the Thieves Helpline. Mm. Okay, bye, infidels. All right, everyone, you all be good, and we will see you real soon. I will definitely be back soon, 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 soon. Right, let's see. Okay, where's my outro song? Where did my outro song go? All right, bye, everyone. Bye, bye.
Bye.
Do you have a moment? And this very second, I know you feel the beat. Do you feel the rhythm all the way? Can you see the vision? Everything in this world will be okay. Can we be together all the way? I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing, reaching for something within you. I know you feel this movement right here. You just be vibing, reaching for something within you. Nights in California, fly passing homes, yeah, right by sunset colored skies. Chilling by the ocean, driving up the mountain, soaked in the endless beauty all of you. You know it feels alright, alright, alright. Yeah. Can you see the vision? Everything in this world will be